Welcome to another edition of Joe's Politics 101. This is my second post for the day. And it's more about the healthcare reform and the government shutdown. I mean, that's the big issue right now. But it's more about party, association, affiliation, support, whatever you want to call it. You know, my stepfather used to tell me, give me this phrase. He used to tell me every once in a while when I would do something that right's right, wrong's wrong, right don't wrong anyone or nobody is how he used to put it. Right's right, wrong's wrong, right don't wrong anybody or nobody. You know, if I was a Republican, whether I would be in the center, the middle, or the right wing, or the left wing of the Republican Party, I would be so damn embarrassed about what the party has allowed a few people to do to it. You know, the Republican Party is basically the old Democratic Party of the South. You know, when John Kennedy got elected president, southern states, people in southern states and a lot of the Midwestern states began to change parties. They changed to the Republican Party. And with them, when they shifted over, they brought all the radical, racist agenda and attitude into the Republican Party with them. You know, the ideas about women, the ideas about race, culture, you know, how the country should be ran. You know, more or less a situation of I'm right, you're wrong, you're never right, I'm always right type of idea. Well, my message to people who are supportive of Tea Party people, who has this idea that we need to take our country back from somebody, whoever it may be, I don't exactly know. And, you know, don't look like America has moved from that little spot on the map where it's always been to anywhere else. So really nobody has taken the country. The diversity of our nation may be the cause for people out there screaming and sporting the old Carl Snake flag, don't tread on me, and we're going to take our country back idea is one of them things that, you know, it seems like some people are angry about the way America is growing, is evolving, you know. It's not being created the way they want it to be created. Instead, it's evolving into a different sort of environment and what's going on in it, different people. You know, it's not just white. You know, I can remember a time when it was just white and black, you know, and a few Hispanics scattered around out in the western states, you know, and Latinos, or I guess you could say Puerto Ricans and different ones on the West Coast, on the East Coast, Florida and New York and places like that. But now we have, you know, people from all over the world in America. Really diverse. I mean, super diverse is what we is. And, you know, it used to be this old thing about America's a melting pot, you know, and I think that melting pot part of it came in with the Irish, the Italians, and all of those people that had come here In the beginning, supposedly in the beginning, as free people, immigrants from Europe. I'm still baffled by the phrase "take our country back." It really got popular when President Obama became president, got elected, and was sworn in. The Tea Party just grew, and a lot of the regular Republicans, just could not. Guys like Mitch McConnell, who come out of the South. He comes out of the South, and he's got certain things ingrained in his head about Afro-Americans. Anyone that come from the South, pretty much, that, the old boneheads, I call them, people like Mitch McConnell, who have been employed by the federal government all his life. He has been involved in some form of politics all his life. I say he's been leeching off the federal government all his life. John Boehner, been around a long time. A lot of them politicians, and I'm not just saying it on the Republican side. I'm extended out to the Democratic Party too, because there's a lot of people who've been on the Democrat side. But there's a huge difference between a Democrat and a Republican. Republicans have always tried to take away any services that the federal government provides. Ronald Reagan dismantled so much stuff. Things that probably would have made America much huger than what it is today, and much better place to live in if he had not dismantled a lot of these things that goes on. This effort by the Republicans to privatize everything, privatize education, privatize prisons, privatize our security, our country's security. How can you hire out your army functions, your military functions, to civilians? Legionnaires or whatever you want to call them. Mercenaries. Fight people who are fighting for money. And these gun laws. Just let everybody have a gun. Hell, they do that in Somalia and Afghanistan and Tora Bora and Pakistan and all these different places. Every damn body you see walking around with an AK-47 or something. Is that what we want America to be? Is that really what we want our country to be? We got rid of that with the Wild Wild West. The 1800s, and we ease into the 1900s and things start changing. Less people walking around with guns on their hips. That's where they want to go back to? Old cowboy days? Forcing, abusing women, back in the day. Well, you belong to me. You belongs to me, kind of thing. How do you do that to a woman? Your mama was a woman, your sister's a woman, your auntie, your grandma, all of these people. How do you do this kind of stuff? That's how I see the Republican Party. If you're a female, your job is to service me and do what I say do. That's the idea that I get from the Republican Party. What I say, you do, you do. If I don't say you do it, you don't do it. So the ideas of the Republican Party is really detrimental to what our democracy is supposed to be. Freedom, liberty, justice for all. And the pursuit of happiness for all. That's what this government represents. We have a constitution. Some people say that constitution is outdated. The Republican Party is constantly trying to destroy that constitution, even though a lot of times they want to use it as a defense or as a bring down on a president, such as they do with the health care, saying it's unconstitutional. But then the Supreme Court said it is constitutional. There's nothing unconstitutional about it. They don't even want to accept that. They brought it to the court. The court, approved it. And they're still idiot enough to be doing that. That's why I can't stand idiots. The Republican, I would be embarrassed if I was a Republican, if I had to go to the polls and pull a lever for Ted Cruz or Rand Paul, Mitch McConnell, John Boehner, any of these people. And then the ones that's trying to run for office, like this Cuccinelli guy in Virginia. You know, what kind of people are these? These are not people who are looking out for the American people. These are people looking out for their special interests. I believe, this is my belief now, because I always say that Republicans are about money. And I believe the majority of everything that the Republicans do involves some kind of conspiracy or some fraud or something to get them more money. More money. You know, to be rich, to be famous. Power and money. Everybody thinks money makes you powerful. Which, you know, a lot of people have money and they have a lot of influence. You know, the old Koch brothers, you know, they got millions and billions of dollars and they flaunting it around trying to buy up the government. And they're doing a pretty good job in buying up your Republicans. We need to get back to being America. Vote for the right things when we go to the polls. Vote for the right people when we go to the polls. Learn and listen to what these people are talking about. If they're talking about anti-government, anti-benefits, anti-Social Security, anti-any of this stuff, you need to be paying attention closely to them. Because the majority of the time they lying to you, and once they get to Washington D.C. and the Koch brothers send them a $2,500 check or something, their whole damn world changes. And they start looking for them $2,500 a month checks, or every 2 weeks, or whenever they campaign. You know, that's all it's about. They done took the controls out of campaigns. Now they can just get money from anybody and anywhere. You know, the American people don't have anything to say about that. That's stuff that they do in Washington D.C. that they make possible. They file lawsuits to get changed through the Supreme Court. And while we, the American citizen, sitting back looking at this, and some of us going, oh yeah, we don't realize that the influence outside of our government is what's causing the majority of the problems. We as Americans, we need to wake up and smell some roses, some sunflowers or something, and begin to make some demands that don't let our government run rampant and hoodwink us and bamboozle us and force crap down our throat. The Obama health care is not something that's being forced. It's something that's being tried. And people need to take it for that and stop nitpicking it, trying to figure out that it's wrong, when in fact it's a benefit to all Americans. I want to thank you for viewing this post. God bless you. God bless America. Ciao.